In the late 80s and early 90s, it was a heyday for hot hatches, and right at the forefront were Peugeot, specifically with the 205 GTI, the recognised hot hatch of the time. But the sister car was the 309 GTI, and we're lucky enough today to get this example, a track-ready but road-legal 309 GTI. And this is not any old GTI, but this has come through Skip Brown's road speed conversion. And today we're going to take the owner, Dan here, is going to take us through all the changes and the history of this car, and then we're going to take it out on some of the best roads in Gloucestershire. Welcome to this week's Fast and Fun. So the 309 GTIs were built between 1986 and 1994. They came with a 4-cylinder 1.9 with about 120 brake horsepower through a 5-speed manual transmission. And all the right-hand drive cars were built up near Coventry, over 18,000 in total. But today in the UK, there's somewhere in the region of only 350 remaining. And this is why cars like this are becoming so rare to get your hands on. And this is even rarer, as I say, because it's had the Skip Brown road speed conversion. That Dan is going to give us a history about what's happened to this car throughout its time. It's had periods off the road, like many cars now that are from the 80s and 90s. There's a whole history behind these cars. So Dan, first of all, when did you buy this car?
10 years.
Wow, 10 years. And is it a car that you always wanted, or is it an opportune buy?
I think this is number 4. So I had them sort of
number 4 of 309s?
I've had 4 309s.
GTIs?
This is number 4. Yeah, all
wow.
GTIs. So, and that was obviously sort of back in the day. And then, you know...
What, in the sort of 90s when they were nearly new?
Yeah, I used to be in the motor trade, so I was buying cars out of Peugeot garages.
Got you.
So that's where I've got the sort of affinity for them.
Yeah.
And, as I say, I've had 3 before this one.
Yeah.
Just road cars, not track cars. But obviously that's sort of given me the knowledge of how well they handle. And so when I was looking for a track car, I've had a few before this, but not Peugeots.
Yeah.
I wanted a 309 GTI as a track car.
Right. So you bought it already stripped and prepared for track?
Basically, yeah. The guy that I bought it off, he had bought it as a standard car. It was in the village where he lived.
Yeah.
So it was sort of well known by the local boy racers because of the Skip Brown conversion that it had had. And Skip Brown's not too far away from where it was, so you know it was a sort of a known garage.
And is it Cheshire Way, Skip Brown?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I bought this from Derbyshire.
Right.
So it was across country. It wasn't a million miles away. And yeah, basically he bought it standard and turned it into a track car. So he ripped all the interior out and put it in a Skip, unfortunately. But in, you know, that sort of period, no one wanted them really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically he put a cage in it. He put some 406 Brembos, 4 pots on the front.
These were for the Peugeot 406, the V6?
Yeah, V6
coupes,
front
yeah.
brakes. And then...
They're other really rare cars, actually, yeah.
306 GTI 6 discs.
Okay.
They fit on the legs of the struts. You don't have to space them out or do any jiggery pokery. They just bolt straight on.
So when the 309 went out of production, it was the 306 that came in, wasn't it, to replace it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And the GTI 6 was the referred 6 because of the 6. It moved to 6-speed, didn't it? Yeah, got you. Yeah. Okay. So first of all, then, just on the GTI itself. So the standard GTI came with sort of GTI specifics. Wheels, it came with a GTI suspension, there was front driving and fog lights, there was a rear spoiler, there was electrically operated rear windows and things like that. So what is this Skip Brown road speed conversion?
So basically the road speed conversion is a package that Skip Brown used to offer back in the day. So,
and just, sorry Dan, just give me Skip Brown. They are...
Skip Brown's a garage in Tarporley, which is a little village just outside Chester.
Yeah.
Now, they basically build rally cars.
Peugeot specific?
Peugeot rally cars, but their main thing they're known for is Sunbeams. Lotus Sunbeams. Sunbeam TIs and whatever genre rally car Sunbeam.
Yeah.
And so, but obviously those are quite thin on the ground now as well.
Yeah.
And so during the heyday of these cars, when they were being used as like Group A rally cars,
Yeah.
when the juniors like Richard Burns
Yeah.
and Alistair McRae, when they were like starting off, they
Yeah.
were driving Peugeots. Well, Skip Brown would have been building the engines for those sorts of cars, for the the rally cars that were being used in the Lombard
Yes.
RAC rally
Right.
and stuff like that back in the day.
So are they engine specialists?
Yeah, they're engine and transmission specialists.
Right. So they don't do so much the suspension and other parts. It's mostly engine and gearbox.
No, they fitted suspension to it as part of
Right.
the package, but
Right.
it's just a Bilsteins. So it would be just a set of Bilsteins
Yeah.
that they would have bought in
Yeah.
and fitted,
Got ya.
but they offered it as part of their road speed package.
And that road speed. So what did that lift power from? Because they were about 128-ish,
Right, yeah.
weren't they?
So the engine that comes with, there was two packages they offered.
Yeah.
This is the blueprinted, which is basically all the tolerances measured on
Yeah.
the engine.
Yeah.
It's lightened and balanced, polished and ported. It's got super chips ECU,
Yeah.
bigger injectors, and then basically that's it. And it's 136 at the wheels on the rolling road.
So at the wheels. So if you take into consideration transmission loss,
And
50% or whatever it may be,
it's probably ballpark. It's about 170 brake at the flywheel.
yes,
You know,
yeah,
that
yeah.
sort of
So
thing.
and I know the thing is nowadays we've got used to hot hatches with 300, 350, 400, even more. But one of the key things that we've not mentioned yet is about 950 kilograms as standard.
Yeah.
This has now been stripped,
Yeah.
so this is a true featherweight.
Yeah, probably 800 and something. I would have thought.
Yeah, it's got to be under 900, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Surely, with
yeah.
all the stripping out
yeah.
that's gone on. So, and how many did Skip Brown convert?
Skip Brown.
Do they know that or not?
Yeah, they think they did six.
6, that's it?
That's it, because everyone was having 205s done, Rich. No one wanted these then.
Yeah.
This was,
There were the
ugly-
poor sibling to the 205,
the
weren't
ugly
they?
sister
There were,
that was
yeah.
a better drive.
Yeah. And have you ever owned a 205 GTI?
Yeah, I've had a couple of 205s.
And you reckon these are
yeah,
better?
much better. Just simply because you've got that.
Is the wheelbase slightly longer?
No, exactly the same.
Is it?
Yeah, but
Right.
you've got just this extra bit
Boot
here.
on the back.
The back end just digs in.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more forgiving. So when you hit the corners hard,
Yeah.
you put your foot down and, you'll see when we take it out later.
Yeah.
It just sticks to the road. And that extra bit, I don't know what it does, but it just makes it more stable. And anyone who's driven both will say the same.
Wow. Okay. So what we want to do now is we're just going to take a canter around the car. We're going to pick out, because this is not clearly standard, there's all sorts been done to it, which in truth, any 30, 40-year-old car is going to have.
Yeah.
So at the front then, Dan, what's been done? I mean, headlight conversion.
Yeah, so that's a Moret headlight conversion, a Gutman grille. Basically, I gave it this look.
Sorry, that's the Gutman grille.
That's the Gutman grille.
Okay.
That's the Moret headlight conversion.
Yeah.
I did it like this with the colour scheme, just in Andy Burton, who you know, a local rally driver, a bit of a hero of mine when I was a kid.
So Andy Burton, 306, Cosworth. If you've ever seen it, lucky enough to see it, stopped rallying because of regulations. Probably, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Yeah, easily 10. They banned it, didn't they?
Yeah, it was almost, for me, it was the closest to a Group B in the modern era. But anyway, so yeah, headlight conversion. What's the think behind it? Does this let any more air in or not?
No, I think it's just
styling.
It probably does let a bit more air in, but basically it was just a look. It's a period front end that used to go on them, in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. And what I love about this is not a garage queen that is mothered and polished, and this is a track car, a road legal track car that is used. And Dan, you use it hard, don't you?
Yeah,
this is
not.
not.
No, it gets used, and
Absolutely, and the stone chips on the front, and that tells the story. And it certainly doesn't mean they're not loved. It just means you're using it for what its intention was.
That's right.
Underneath, there's some air vents.
Yeah, so that's just fog lights around with a mesh put in it, just basically to let more air in for the brakes. There's no
Front brakes, yeah.
or anything because I just haven't got round to doing it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And
okay.
obviously the fog lights as the standard, just with the yellow for the
Tint.
French look.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And you've got your bonnet catchers,
Yeah.
etc. Okay, cool. And then down towards the back. So at the rear of the car, spoiler, Dan, is that the standard GTI?
Standard
Yeah.
phase 1.
Yeah, okay. Any other changes at the back of the car?
Yeah, we got a heck blend there, which is just again a period sort of thing that used to be done in the 80s and 90s. So
that's not standard then?
No, that's not standard. What it should have as standard is a grey one, which is basically like sort of a Venetian blind, cantilevered or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And that would fill that area between the lights.
Okay.
So as I say, that was, that is actually a Peugeot factory one that would have been offered,
as an option, or
little stand in the corner of the main agent with the options. It's a Peugeot one that I got off a chap that gets a lot of OEM Peugeot bits. Who basically, without him, there's a lot of Peugeots wouldn't be on the road.
And did you fit that, or was that already on when you bought the car?
No, I fitted that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I fitted that.
Exhaust?
Built by Infinity Exhaust in Bristol.
Okay.
2¼ inch, which is the standard bore for the system.
Yeah.
And then the tailpipe's 2.5.
Okay.
Which is just how I wanted it. So stainless.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And that's largely it, isn't it? You've got these electric windows.
No,
these.
Yeah, well they're cable operated.
Oh, I think so. They're not electric.
No, there's a little lever
between
the handbrake cable and between the handbrake and the seats.
Yeah.
And basically, you just push them
backwards
and forwards,
got you.
and they open up.
Right, got you. Okay. And then can we just pop the boot? And so in the boot, I take it the batteries obviously wasn't there.
Yeah, we got the battery in the boot, and then basically that sort of frame there that was welded in, that was done by Mark James, the guy that I bought the car off.
Right. Did it not have? So it's never had a full cage.
Yes, it's had a full cage in it. It was an OMP, so it's a universal fit between 205 and 309s.
Yeah.
But because I'm so tall,
banging your head as you get in and
with
out.
the helmet on a track day, it was.
Even when you're driving.
Yeah, my head was.
knocking. So was that just a bolt in? Was it?
Yeah, just a bolt in.
Yeah.
So I took it out, and to be honest, I wanted the look of it being a bit more like a road car.
Yeah, the balance between road and track car.
Yeah.
And 4-point harnesses.
Yeah.
As standard with my bane of my life is driving road-going cars with 4-point harnesses. Just even simple things like filming YouTube. I get myself clipped in, want to start the video, and I've got to disconnect everything to start it because you just can't reach forward. But I get it for this car because it is your track car. Right, let's have a quick look inside the car. So inside, I think the first thing, Dan, is the seats. OMP?
Yeah, 2 OMP, not matching. That one's a fixed bucket and this is a recliner. Because I have the seat, because I'm 6'6", I've got the seat set back, so I've got plenty of leg and arm room.
Have you got, what's your head height like then?
Yeah, the head height's fine. I took the headlining out again because with the helmet, I could just feel myself, just glancing the headlining, and obviously when you're driving around the track, you want to be concentrating on what's in front of you.
Absolutely. Yeah. 4-point harnesses like we've already talked about. The Momo steering wheel?
Yeah, Momo drift steering wheel, just had it, it was on the car when I bought it and I just had it recovered because it was looking a bit tired.
Yeah. Standard 5-speed gearbox.
Well, no, the gearbox is built by Skip Brown.
Of course it is, yes.
Yeah, it's built by Skip Brown.
Yeah.
It's basically on a 1.6 GTI crown wheel and pinion, with a 1900 final drive and a Quaife limited slip, and that was built by Skip Brown.
So were these expensive in the day? These Skip, because they sound like they are. These Skip Brown conversions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've got all the receipts for the car.
Since when?
Basically from new.
Wow, that must be
rare.
I
know the whole story of the car from 1992.
Wow.
So it was bought by a guy who lived up in round Chester way, called Andrew Goddard. He
Yeah.
bought it from Culver's, which is a Toyota main agent,
Yeah.
in 1989. 1992 he bought it. The car was registered new in 89. He bought it in 92, so it was 3 years old, as a second-hand car. So I've got the dealer pack.
Yeah.
I've got the invoice that he had for £8,000 that he paid for the car.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically then he drove it for the next 5 years, and I think it was 20,000 miles when he bought it. And then when it got to 57,000 miles, the head gasket went.
Right.
And then that was when he took it into Skip Brown.
So that was the catalyst.
Yeah, that was the catalyst.
Got you for the road speed conversion.
Yeah, basically he took it in there, and he had the road speed conversion done. The engine alone was £5,000.
What?
Yeah.
This was in 99?
92.
97.
97.
97.
When the engine was built at 57,000 miles.
So that was a lot of money in them days.
Yeah, to have the engine built and fitted, and that's including the suspension as
well.
Yeah. But all it is engine and suspension. That was the road speed. So yeah, that was 5,000, and I've got an invoice for that. So if you think about it, it's over half the price of what he paid the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, it would have depreciated, but still, you know, when these cars were 8 years old back in the day, you know, they're coming up to people are scrapping them and getting rid of them because they're becoming old hat then, and everyone else wants the next thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he loved it. So basically, he drove it round then for a number of years. That was when the car got the reputation around the with the local boy racers as being a quick car.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, we don't know why, he parked it up on his garden. So it was parked up on his garden for about 5 or 6 years. Now, loads of people tried to buy it off him, but he wouldn't sell it.
Yeah.
And so the lad that I bought it from, Mark James, a friend of his father knew Andrew Goddard.
Yeah.
And basically he sold it to the son.
Right.
So then the son had the car and didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And then they were all into Subarus.
Yeah.
And as you know, Rich. So basically, the lad who owned this car, his Subaru blew up.
Yeah.
So Mark James was a mechanic and had his own garage.
Yeah.
And so he rebuilt the Subaru engine and did the work on it, and then he took this car in part payment for the bill.
Did he? Right.
And then it came to him as the standard car, well, the road speed, but with the standard interior. None of the track upgrade bits, it was just totally standard. And then he decided he was going to turn it into a track car, drove to the Nürburgring, did 5 laps, drove it home, and then pushed it into the corner of his garage, and then left it there. His missus told me that trip back from the Nürburgring was the worst car journey of her life, and she would never ever go.
What, because of the noise, the hum?
The exhaust had started blowing.
Right,
as well.
got you. Yeah.
And you know, I mean, driving all the way from Germany.
Yeah.
They're a rattly old thing at the best of times.
Yeah.
It's a long way in a car like this.
But that history, so important, especially on these older cars that are 30, 40 years old. That history and every car's got a history as well, I think, which I absolutely love. Let's just finally go and have a look under the bonnet before we take it out onto the road. Is there anything specifically to point out here?
Well, there's a few little upgrades that have been done. So it's got like a motorsport radiator, so that would be bigger than standard.
Yeah.
Obviously for cooling on track. That's an electric fan, which comes in normally on a thermostat, but it's got an override on the dash.
For you, okay, got you.
So obviously when I'm, on a track day, I have the fan running.
Just to keep temps down.
Allegedly, the fan's half an Aston Martin fan. That's what the lad who I bought the car off told me, because he fitted all that, not me. It's also got a Mocal oil cooler down there.
Right, okay.
Again, fitted by the lad who built the car.
Yeah, I can see that down.
Mark James,
I don't know if you can quite see that.
And we got a strut brace and a ram air filter, which is, you know,
Yeah.
and then obviously some silicone hoses. They were on there when I bought the car. And yeah, that's basically about it.
Okay, cool. Right, I think we've been putting it off long enough. Let's take it for a drive.